Log equations, my favorite. Both different. You solve each one of these differently. Let's start with 19 over here. So what you want to do in each of these cases is squish these two logs. So those two I want to squish, and these two I want to squish. So in 19, I'm going to squish these using, because this is a minus, the quotient rule. So instead of writing two lns, I'm going to write one ln, and it's the quotient of those two things that you're taking the ln of, the 1 and the x minus 1. Now I use the property of logarithmic equality to say if I'm lnning this and lnning this, then whatever's inside those brackets have to be the same thing. So in other words, 4x minus 1 must be equal to 1 over x minus 1. Now to solve it, since I have a fraction, the first thing I do is multiply both sides by an x minus 1. So that'll cancel this on the bottom. So on the left side, I've got x minus 1 times 4x minus 1 is equal to, now just on the right side, there's just a 1. FOIL that out, so 4x squared minus x minus 4x plus 1 is equal to 1. Collect like terms. If I bring this one over here, it'll subtract, it'll just cancel that. So that's equal to 0. Then let's factor an x out. So 4x minus 5 is equal to 0. So either x equals 0 or 4x minus 5 is equal to 0. On the 4x minus 5, I'll take the 5 over to the other side and add it, and then divide both sides by 4. So x is going to be equal to 5 over 4. Now, if I take a look at the original question, life is all good except when I put a 0. This 0, if I put that in right here, or I put it in right there, I wind up taking the log of a negative number or the ln of a negative number, and that's illegal. So 0 can't be one of my answers, but the 5/4 is. Okay, question number 20, a similar one, but because it's a log question and the first step is to squish stuff. I might as well do that right now. So if I squish those, now because there's a plus there, it's a quotient rule. So I just have to write 1 log 9, and then I'm putting the quotient of x minus 8 times x minus 8, okay, is equal to 1. Now last time at this point when I squished, I had ln on this side and ln on this side that I just dropped. But on this one, I don't have a ln on the right-hand side. I could sort of make one, but it sort of messes with your mind a little bit to make the thing there, to put a log there. It's easier just to change its form. So that if you want to change the form of this from log form to exponential form, it'll be 9 to the first is equal to this stuff. X minus 8 times x minus 8. Okay, so 9 to the first is just 9. Let's FOIL this, x squared minus 8x minus 8x plus 64. So I get x squared minus 16x plus 64. And then I'll bring the 9 over and subtract. Because it's a quadratic, I want to make it equal to 0. 64 take away 9, I'm calling 55. So it's a quadratic. I could use a quadratic formula. I could complete the square, or I'm hoping that I can factor it. So x and x, 55 is 11 and 5. Those are my numbers. Minus 11, minus 5. So either x minus 11 is 0, or x minus 5 is 0. So in this case, I get an 11, or I get a 5. Again, just like I did over on this side, I should check to see if my numbers work. Putting an 11 in there, 11 minus 8 is 3, 11 minus 8 is 3. Yeah, that's okay. But putting a 5 in, if I put a 5 in, 5 to take away 8's negative number. Actually, I shouldn't be doing it at this stage here. I should be doing it at this stage over here, the original question. So if I put a 5 in there, 5 to take away 8 is a negative 3. You can't take the log of a negative number, therefore I'm not using 5. Hopefully that helps you with those 2 log questions. I love log questions.